Alright, picking up from where we left off, the parts of the nail include the eponychium, the epo, basically epi, upon, necium, nail. It's this little bit of flesh here, epithelial tissue we call the cuticle. So it's really the eponychium. So some stratum corneum just extending out there. Use a cuticle stick and push it back. It grows over your lunula. Luna meaning moon. It's a little half moon there. It's just part of the nail matrix which we can see through the nail. The free edge of the nail is called the free edge of the nail. This is the nail body. The bed is the site of nail attachment, and the matrix is the thick part of the bed close to the nail. And that's where the nail is made, basically, and it extends outwards over the end of the finger. So again, eponychium is part of the cuticle. You got your nail plate or your nail body, lunula. You got your edge of the nail. Actually, I have the hyponychium, the flesh which closes underneath the nail. But really, all you need is the free edge, the nail plate, the nail bed, nail body rather, the eponychium, your nail matrix which produces the nail bed underneath the nail body, and the lunula. Moving on to burns. Burns of the integumentary system. They go by degrees. The first degree is basically the first layer. So the first degree burns the first layer, the epidermis, and it heals completely due to regeneration of the epithelium at the stratum basale. The second degree burn burns clear down to the dermis. So it burns below the epidermis, and this, of course, can be caused by sunburns, flames, hot liquids. So when it burns down, as you can see this person's hand here, the flesh, the upper layer is shredded off. You can see the dermis underneath there. Now remember, the epidermis extends in the hair follicle deep into the dermis. So all this epidermis up here will regenerate from the hair follicles where it extends deep into the hair follicle. So this person will regenerate epidermis and there will be scarring. However, third degree burns burn below the dermis, deep down to the hypodermis or the subcutaneous layer, and that, as you can see, it's clear down below the dermis. Now there's nerve damage because the nerves are down in the hypodermis. There is hair loss because the hair follicle is just an extension of the epidermis into the dermis. So now it cannot produce the hair, it cannot produce the epidermis, so therefore it's got to replace that tissue with scar tissue. So now it's replacement of tissue, and now there's connective tissue replacing the epithelial tissue, leaving you scars. That's why scars at first appear pink, because they're highly vascularized. You got blood vessels extending into the feed the scars tissue to make it grow. And after a while it turns white because it's strong connective tissue. Just replace that part of there because you still need protection. Cyanosis, redness and paleness. What are they? What are the causes? Burns first, second, third degree. No one understand those. Skin cancers. We're going to talk about basal cell carcinoma, which, from the name of it, appears in the stratum basale. Squamous cell carcinoma, which appears in the stratified squamous epithelial tissue, and malignant melanoma, which is a melanocyte, those little cells which produce pigment down interspersed with the stratum basale, and that's one of the worst types. You already know the word metastasis. We're going to hit that again. UVA and UVB. The ultraviolet light spectrum is much broader than the visible light spectrum our eyes detect. So it's broken into two parts, ultraviolet A and ultraviolet B. We like to say ultraviolet aging and ultraviolet bad. Ultraviolet aging is the UV light, which damages your collagen fibers in your skin, leading to the heavy wrinkling and leathery appearance of the skin. UVB are much shorter waves, and they go down to the DNA and damage it, causing thymine dimers, which are then corrected and fixed in the process. You get heat release, you get more melanocytes are innervated to produce more melanin for protection from the UV, but at the same time it does damage your DNA, so that's why we call it UV bad. So either go to the link below, or you may watch the YouTube, which explains skin cancers. I prefer you do that than listen to my little PowerPoint here, but I will go on and talk about some more stuff. The nerve types in the skin. Basically, we have 4 types of nerves. We have, well, more than that, but we're going to just talk about 4. We're going to talk about the hot, the temperature sensitive ones. You got ones which detect heat. They got to be 117 degrees maximum. Anything above 117 Fahrenheit is just pain. Cold, or less than body temperature, down to 47 degrees Fahrenheit, we detect as cold. Anything below 47, you're going to catch as pain. And that's not even near freezing yet, but still, we detect it as pain. That's why you put your tongue on that flagpole in the winter, it hurts. And pain, of course. Pain are those little nerve endings that send sharp, quick impulses, letting us know something's wrong. And then there's light and deep touch receptors. We've got little Merkel's discs, which detect super light touch. We've got Pacinian corpuscles, kind of like the Pacific Ocean, which are deep, for deep touch when you push deeper. We've got Ruffinian corpuscles, which detect a constant pressure, let us know there's still pressure on us, if we're leaning up against something or sitting down. And we'll see more about these next slide. Not next slide. Back to skin problems. All right, decubitus ulcer. Read your textbook, look at the clinical focus. There's a lot of good information there. It goes into much more detail than this, but this is the basics again. Decubitus ulcer is basically an ulcer of the skin where it debrides, the skin comes off. We call them bed sores. And again, that's from just laying on the bed so long that so much pressure eventually clogs those little capillaries and then cuts the circulation off, and that part of the skin dies. And as it dies, the bacteria go in there and basically break it down, do what bacteria do, and it starts sloughing off and getting infected, and it's nasty. Decubitus ulcer. And that's an example of what it can look like. Alright, chickenpox. We've all had our chickenpox vaccine, or else we've had the chickenpox virus. If you had the chickenpox virus, you still have it because it sequesters away in the nerve endings forever. It's a herpes virus, and all herpes viruses are basically forever. Herpes zoster is the genus species of this virus. And if you have the herpes zoster chickenpox as a child, it manifests itself in these little red marks which itch. But later on in life, as it comes back, and it can come back more than just once, it comes back in the form of shingles due to stress or low immune system, and that is very painful. It's not just the old people. I have a friend who was in his 20s, like 28 years old. He came in one day, back was killing him, had these boils on his back, and they're killing him. He went to see the doctor immediately. He called in sick for that day. He was gone the next week because he had shingles. So it's not just the old folks it affects. Yes, it is the same virus as the chickenpox, herpes zoster. And there's an example of what it can look like in people my age and younger, older. So what do jock itch, ringworm, and athlete's foot all have in common? Yes, they're all fungi, but, athlete's foot, ugh. Ringworm, because it looks a ring, it's not really a worm, it just makes a ring shape appearance in the skin. You thought I was going to show you jock itch. No, I'm not going to do that. That's some more fungal infection in the back. I think this is back. They're all caused by the same fungus, Epidermophyton flocosum. Epidermo tells you it affects the epidermis. Phyton, it's a fungus. Flocosum, it makes it flocculent, or makes your epidermis slough off up there, flake off. And there's an example of the fungi underneath the microscope. It's also called tinea corporis on the skin, tinea capitis on the scalp, tinea pietra elsewhere. Different names for different places it occurs. It's a fungus which loves to live on humans. Wrestlers get it, they pass around the mats. That's why they bleach the mats down. Alright, cold sores and fever blisters. Right about now, life's getting stressful for both teachers and students. You see many teachers with cold sores and fever blisters. Again, once you have a cold sore, you always have it. It's caused by a virus. It's a herpes virus, herpes simplex 1. Again, once you have it, it's forever. It sequesters away in the nerve endings. You get stressed. It manifests itself on the lips, usually on the lips, sometimes inside the gum line, as these little blisters. Age spots. As people get older, sometimes these brownish spots occur in the skin. And it's not just caused by age, it's also caused by poor diet, lack of exercise, alcoholism, smoking, lack of staying hydrated, basically just not taking good care of yourself. Sometimes they happen anyway as you get older, but if you want to avoid those, eat a good diet, get good sleep, don't smoke, don't drink, don't chew, don't go out with the girls who do. Alright, supplemental study tools, such as the innerbody.com, will help you identify some things. Use the book website. It's got a lot of nice little labeling exercises and practice quizzes. And, as Charlie Brown says, study hard.